Hi guys, so this was painful to listen to. A former chief immigration officer at UK Border Force. Yes, not just some guy down the pub, but a former immigration officer who should actually know what he's talking about, or at least have an idea of the terms used when we're talking about both migration and asylum. The levels of ignorance here are cringeworthy, but it's important to understand that people like this guy used to hold a senior position when it came to immigration. First, you'll hear from LBC presenter Matthew Wright, and then we'll hear from our expert.
The foremost question is, how do we stop the flow of migrants while simultaneously searching for people to drive our HGV lorries?
Well, I don't think that a goat farmer from Iraq would be able to drive an HGV lorry.
No, but an HGV live driver from Iraq might be able to drive an HGV. A doctor from Iraq might be able to treat sick people in the UK.
Possibly, I don't know.
Possibly, I don't know. I don't know if a doctor from Iraq would be able to treat people in Britain. I don't know if a heavy goods vehicle driver from Iraq would be able to work in the UK. Now, maybe he's splitting hairs here and he's saying, look, their qualifications may not be recognised in the UK, but I don't think that's what he's on about.
Well, if we spent, I'm just sitting there thinking we're talking about spending £100,000 sending people back to Albania, but we're not actually even finding out whether they could contribute to our society first of all. It's like, you're not supposed to be here, go.
Well, you've got to have a system, haven't you? You've got to have an asylum system. You can't say just because we're short of turkey farmers in Norfolk, we're going to take refugees from Iraq or Sudan and turn them into turkey farmers. You've got to have an asylum system. If you're going to have an asylum system, you've got to decide who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. Then say, well, what jobs can we do?
Okay, so...
No, that's not how it works. and I feel terrible that I actually have to explain the difference between migration and asylum to a former chief immigration officer. And also Matthew Wright here from LBC. They're two separate issues. Asylum is not the same as migration, and migration is not the same as asylum. Now, people will arrive in the country, they will claim asylum, they will say, look, I want to claim asylum because I'm persecuted in my own country, or because there's a war taking place and it's not safe for me to remain there. That's different to people who want to work in the country, because people who want to work in the country now will apply for a visa. The visa will be given out as required. For example, if you need heavy goods vehicle drivers, you will issue visas for that. If you need fruit pickers, you will issue visas for that. This is completely separate. And I feel stupid saying this, but this is completely separate from asylum.
So you would accept that there is that middle layer where we could use maybe a more proactive approach to working out whether certain people could be useful citizens, rather than, as it seems at the moment, ascertaining whether somebody has a right to asylum, discarding all of those seeking a better economic life for themselves.
But they're completely separate issues, Matthew. Like, why is this so difficult to understand? People arriving in the UK claiming asylum are not saying, I'm claiming asylum so I can drive a heavy goods vehicle. And you shouldn't actually process claims based on their ability to drive a heavy goods vehicle. That's insane. And it's also discriminatory, because you will automatically exclude people, it seems. So I think this is what you're getting at. You'd be automatically excluding people who don't have the skills that you want. Oh, you're here to claim asylum. Why? Because I'm persecuted in my own country. Can you drive a heavy goods vehicle? No. I'm sorry, you don't reach the threshold that we require for you to claim asylum. What? Should I apply for a visa? Yes, apply for a visa instead. This is insane.
And I'm just sort of mystified that we've had 8 applications from Europe to drive HGV lorries, which is a subject in itself. But at the same time, we are deporting people, and they may even be able to drive lorries. We don't know.
Well, we're not deporting them, are we?
Well,
We've only
that's a
sent
very
5
good
back
point.
this year.
Very good point.
So that's that one doesn't float. But if we're going to have an asylum system, we have to have an asylum system.
Yeah.
The business
There is an asylum system.
about whether they can do jobs comes afterwards, after the asylum system.
No, it does not. They're completely separate. Look, many people who will apply for asylum and their asylum process, asylum application is, they're successful in their application for asylum, will go on perhaps to work doing a job that they have a skill for, or they maybe they will learn a skill and do that job. But that's completely different from immigration. That's completely different from a visa system. I'm actually quite shocked that a former chief immigration officer doesn't understand the difference between asylum and immigration. And also LBC, this presenter from LBC, I don't know him very well, but Matthew Wright, he doesn't seem to understand the difference between immigration and asylum. He's coming at this at the wrong angle, thinking, okay, there are people claiming asylum, wanting to claim asylum in the UK. Some of them may be heavy goods vehicle drivers. Why are we turning these people away if they have these skills? But that should not be the criteria for claiming asylum in the UK. That would be in breach of UN conventions. Yes, you can claim asylum. This is insane. I'm laughing because this is just so absurd. Yes, you can claim asylum if you can, I don't know, pick fruit, or you can work in a hospital, or you can drive a heavy goods vehicle. Can you drive a heavy goods vehicle? Yeah, well, sort of. Okay, then we're going to fast track your asylum claim. No, that's not how it works, and that should not be how it works. So this is insane. The idea that you have someone who's an expert, allegedly an expert, talking about this in terms that, yes, first people claim asylum, and then after we funnel them into industries that require staff. No, it should not be that way. It isn't that way, and I hope it's not going to become that way, because it would be a disaster. What you need to do is you need to create a pragmatic immigration policy. You need staff, you provide the visas necessary, make them long-term visas so that people will come and they will stay in the UK and work the necessary months or years that those industries require. Because, as I've said before, many businesses are crying out for staff. They can't get the staff. They've asked government to provide long-term visas. The response from government is, no, we're not going to do that. But this idea of mixing migration and asylum is just insane. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.